Hello friends, welcome back to Easy GST for you. I'm your host Girish Kulkarni, and in the today's video we are going to discuss one very important budget proposal that is related to the amnesty scheme of pending litigations in GST. So I'm taking you to an ongoing webinar wherein I'm addressing few chartered accountants and a group of lawyers about the union budget proposals. So I'm just connecting this video to the session. So friends, I'm just with your permission recording this part of the session for my viewers on YouTube channel, wherein I'll be explaining the new amnesty scheme that has been proposed to be implemented through this union budget. This is clause basically 142 of the finance bill, which will be enacted, and that will introduce a new section in GST law, which is section 128A, which will give a lot of reliefs to the ongoing litigations. I'll just try to cover up briefly the history and rationale behind introduction of this particular amnesty. To start with, there have been a lot of changes in the GST regime for last 7 years, since 2017, the time when GST got launched, and that came through various notifications, circulars, orders, and a lot of other stuffs. It was very difficult for a normal taxpayer to keep a track of all these changes, and on top of it, to implement these changes immediately. Maybe these changes were related to legal aspects, maybe related to the compliance mechanism, but to sum up, there have been a lot of changes, and hence there are many situations where either the tax was short paid, tax was not paid, some refunds were granted erroneously, or the taxpayer ended up claiming input tax credit which he was not eligible to claim. So to cover these situations, what is happening right now is that the tax authorities have issued notices to the taxpayer. The adjudication may be ongoing. The orders may have been passed by the tax authorities. Some people have gone into appeal. Some people have also concluded the appeal proceedings and waiting for the tribunals to get set up, and thereafter they will put up the cases before the honorable tribunals. Some people, where they wanted a quick relief, have already approached the honorable high courts of the respective jurisdiction for claiming those reliefs. So all in all, the adjudication is going on or completed, but there is a pending volume of litigation. The moment GST tribunals will start operating, because currently those are not operational, there will be a lot of workload in terms of the pending cases before the tribunals, and exactly for that reason, also to end up the disputes, government has proposed to launch an amnesty scheme. Also, wherever there is a open litigation, chances of having a recovery with the passage of time becomes a very difficult task and a challenge for the tax authorities and the government. And hence, this is another smart move by the government, wherein usually whenever the amnesty schemes are introduced, the government expects to pay the tax and give the relief in terms of interest and penalty, which is liable to be paid. Now, taxpayers also think that we will litigate, we will waste a lot of time, energy, and cost to litigate the matters. Instead, let us pay the tax liability and close the matters, because we are getting enough sort of a relief through interest and penalty waiver. So that is the general thinking patterns of the trade and industry as well as the government, and to merge and pull out a synergy out of it, this introduction of amnesty scheme. So now let's straightforward dive into the section. The section will be 128A of CGST Act, which will be newly introduced in the enactment, wherein it says that if there is an open litigation, and they have categorized this particular aspect. This category is divided into three various classes. Class number 1, show cause notice is issued under section 73 and the adjudication is ongoing, the order is not yet passed. Second, the order is passed and the taxpayer has gone into an appeal, but appeal proceedings are not over. And case number 3, also appeal proceedings are over and still the dues are under litigation, meaning that currently taxpayers are filing annexure with the authorities and intimating the authorities their further intent to go for an appeal with the tribunals. So whatever may be the situation from these 3 categories, relief can be availed. Now what is the relief? Relief would be waiver of interest and penalty. So they will have to pay 100% of the tax which is disputed, and they will not be required to pay any interest and penalty. Now, to whom it is applicable is the first aspect. Now, there is no blanket cover, but they have covered 3 important years. These are the initial years, and so it becomes very important for the taxpayer and the tax authorities to conclude on those aspects. So the 3 years which are covered are 1st July 2017 to March 2018, that is 17-18, 18-19 and 19-20. These are the 3 years. Any cases related to these 3 years will get eligible to have the amnesty benefit. Secondly, what sort of dues are covered? So dues wherein the adjudication was initiated under section 73. Now there are 2 sections of demands and recovery, section 73 and section 74. 73 and 74 talk about 4 situations. Situation number 1, tax not paid. Situation number 2, tax short paid. Situation number 3, refund erroneously granted. And 4th, input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized. Now out of these 4 aspects, they have only covered 3 aspects, that is tax not paid, tax short paid and input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized. They have not covered erroneous refund cases for this amnesty scheme. So that is another important aspect. Now 73 is basically without willful intent to defraud the government, and 74 is with an intent to defraud the government. So fraud cases, to sum up in a simple words, fraud cases will get under 74 and non-fraud cases will get covered under 73, where there is willful misstatement, willful fraud, or mens rea, which is a guilty mind which is present. So now this amnesty under proposed section 128A will only cover 73 cases. 74 cases will not get this benefit. They will have to litigate the cases and conclude. So that is another aspect. What you will have to do, you will have to pay the full tax amount before the specified date. Now the specified date is yet to be mentioned in the bill. It was not. They say that it will be coming through the rules. But as far as the discussion which happened in the 53rd GST Council meeting, which was just before the union budget, therein they are proposing to have that date as 31st March 2025. So those ongoing cases where the tax is payable under section 73 for the 3 reasons, tax not paid, tax short paid, or input tax credit wrongly availed, will have to make good by paying 100% of the tax before 31st March 2025 or the date that will be specified in the rules. After doing that, they will have to withdraw the appeals if there are open appeals those have filed. So clear cut, if they are offering you an amnesty, they will not expect you to again litigate it further. Also, they will take a declaration wherein against the order of this amnesty scheme, you will not be able to file any appeal in the future. So that is another aspect. So all in all, a good scheme if the facts of the case are not in the favor of the taxpayer and there is no clarity as such as to what will happen to a disputed aspect of law. Now, there are few unanswered aspects about this amnesty scheme which I will also discuss, and later on we will have a question answer session after the end of webinar, wherein I will address all the questions related to this amnesty scheme also. And for my YouTube viewers, they can post through comments or they can always write to me on email wherein I can respond to their queries. But few questions which I would like to spend a couple of minutes is that if there is a situation where there is a single order having 2-3 disputed issues, let's say 2 disputed issues, one of which you are very sure that your facts and merits of the case are very strong and that is worth litigating, and second aspect you are not very sure and you want to avail the amnesty benefit, can you split those 2 aspects and opt for amnesty for a specific aspect and you can litigate for a second aspect? Can you do that? My answer after reading the entire section, I nowhere find any such option which is given to taxpayer. So probably you'll have to pay the entire dues related to both the aspects, wherein maybe your facts and merits are strong or weak, doesn't matter, you'll have to pay the entire thing. So you cannot basically split the order and decide whether you can go in fraction or in partially to the amnesty scheme. Second, what happens to orders? Well, now there are various ways in which orders are passed. Central tax authorities and state tax authorities have different mechanism to draft these orders, but sometimes they say that demand should be apportioned with the amounts paid. Sometimes they only mention of interest and penalty if the amounts are paid. So what happens to orders where there is only open demand related to interest and penalty? This is very crucial aspect, and again, sorry to say, but I do not find answer to this question, because if you read and try to interpret the proposed 128A, it does not cover the cases where there is no tax demand and only interest and penalty is demanded. So that is another gray area. Also, another set of cases wherein maybe GST or 99C highlights certain dues to be paid, wherein the annual return or earlier CA used to certify GST or 9Cs. So there CA might have identified certain payable dues, but fortunately or unfortunately you have not received any show cause notices or pre-show cause intimations, and there is no open litigations. What happens to those dues? Can a taxpayer suo moto go and obtain the amnesty benefit for such dues? My answer again would be a strictly no, because current drafted section only covers 3 cases: show cause notice issued, order pending, order done, appeal pending, appeal done, litigation still open. It nowhere talks about identified dues suo moto by the taxpayer. So it again does not cover such cases. Considering the period of limitation, the taxpayer may take a call whether to litigate it further. And also a few associations are in the process of representing before the government regarding covering of such cases. So all in all, a good scheme. As one of the dialogue of the super hit movie and one of my favorite, The Godfather, he says, I will make him an offer he cannot refuse. So this is kind of that offer which is irresistible for taxpayers to end up the open litigations and save themselves from the trauma of mental stress and cost of interest, as well as compliance and representation cost of further litigation. They can definitely go for the amnesty scheme. Just give me a moment. So hereby I conclude my YouTube video. Thank you viewers for watching this video. If you do like this video, please share it with your friends and hit the like button. Thank you so much.